This conference will now be recorded.
Hello everyone. So I'm sorry for being late. Actually, there was some go-to meeting problem. I was discussing the same with the Sean. So thank you so much for joining this session. So I'm Kamal Chauhan, and I would be your trainer for next 4 weeks for this training. So guys, I have the list with me. So let's start with a quick introduction. Let's start with me first, and then we'll start with very brief introduction about you, and then we'll start with the. So let's set the agenda. So I'll give you the walkthrough of why DevOps, the advantages of DevOps, and the current market status of the DevOps. And then I'll give you the brief about the syllabus that we are going to cover throughout the sessions. And then I will also give you understanding about the support model, the after you complete your trainings, how we guys will going to support you, and everything about after the sessions, after you complete your training, what will happen next. So guys, I'm Kamal Chauhan, and I have total 13 plus years of experience in DevOps. I am in Bangalore currently. I'm working in one of the MNC here, and I'm working since 2006. And I started working as a developer. I worked in .NET for 2 years, and then I moved to the totally to the build and release and deployment and configuration management. And that was the early time for the DevOps and the automation when I used to work on the Java projects, and we used to automate our pipeline through the build.xml file, where it was the first level of automation for us, where we used to code how the package will be, how the code will be built, how it will be packaged, and then where to save it, how to deploy it. And then after that one, I moved on to Jenkins and Hudson, and then I started working on the Ansible also in some time. And currently I'm working on Ansible, Terraform, AWS. So we are the technology partner with the Red Hat. So all the most of the Red Hat technologies we have, we're working on, and I have a good expertise in the RHCL 6 and 7 platform, Linux, and I'm working for a very big, US airlines as one of my client. So this is in very brief about myself, and the best thing I'm enjoying is that I'm working day in day out on the automations, creating the solutions so that the pipeline will be improved as much as we can, supporting the developers. So we have a team here. I'm handling a team here. So we are working very closely with the developers, how we can be improve their life, making the automation more effective. And I'm working on it. I'm very happy that this is something which I started very early in my career. So this is in very brief about me, guys. So I have a list here with me. That was being shared with me, and let me just pull out that list, and we'll quickly start with the um, I'll name one of you, and then you can give a very brief introduction, and then we'll move on. So first name I have with me is Farwa Iftikhar. Iftikhar. So please give very brief introduction about you, so that I would be having some understanding about you guys, and after having the understanding about your experience, I will model my complete training accordingly.
Um, Hi, so this is Farva, and I did my undergraduate in computer engineering, and so I've worked a lot with Python, C++, algorithms, but never done DevOps. So yeah.
Okay, that's wonderful. Thank you, Farwa. And next I have Zuhair Halak. Do we have Zuhair here? I think not. The next is Josna. Joseph is not here. Mohsin Ahmed. Mohsin, I can see you. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm here. Yeah,
Yeah.
so hi, I'm Mohsen Ahmed, and I did my bachelor's in computer engineering, and I did a couple of internships back at home in as a QA tester and it was internship for like 6 months, and as SQL database analyst, it was also internship for 4 months, and I never did DevOps, and I want to start the career from here.
Okay. Wonderful, Mohsin. Thank you.
Thank you.
And then we have Kruti. Kruti, are you able to hear me? Okay. So I can see Kruti, but maybe you may be having some audio problems. No matter. So let's move on. I have Ashna Golani.
Hello.
Yeah.
Yep. This is Ashna, and I just finished my master's in MIS,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm a fresher right now. So I've never worked with DevOps. So this is my first time I'm having hands on DevOps. I'm looking forward for it.
Okay. Wonderful, Ashna. Thank you. So I have Kevin Patel.
Hi. I did my bachelor's in computer science recently, and I have some hands-on experience with Java and Python programming, but I am still new to the DevOps.
Okay. Okay. Wonderful, Kevin. So till now, what I understand that we have a group of freshers with me, and that's a wonderful thing. So thank you, Kevin. So next I have uh, Eteshamuddin. So uh, Eteshamuddin Muhammad. Okay. So I have Sravani Dodla.
Hi, I'm Shravani. So I have done my master's recently.
Mhm.
I have internship experience with C Sharp, .NET, Python. So I'm
Okay.
new to DevOps as well. So I'm excited to learn about it.
Okay, Sravani, thank you. And the guys who just joined, I saw Upma. So we are going through a very brief introduction. I have given my introduction also initially. And the agenda for today is, I'm going to give you a walkthrough of why DevOps, what are the advantages of DevOps, and how it will benefit you in your career. Then I will move on to give you the brief about the syllabus that we are going to cover in the sessions, complete session. So then I have Asaf with me, Asaf Arshad.
Hi, this is Chinmay Panda.
Hey Chinmay, hi.
Hi.
Yeah, so Chinmay, can you give me a very brief introduction about you?
Okay. I completed my graduation on computer science and engineering on 2013. Then after I worked as Xamarin Android developer for 2 years. Then I am currently staying in USA. So recently I got my AD and now I'm trying for my job.
Okay, thank you, Chinmay. Thank you.
Thank you.
So next I have Vibhanshu Patil.
Hello everyone, I'm Bibanshu Patel. I did my bachelor's here in computer engineering. I was working in electronics field and same as Chinmay. I got received my H4EAD, and I always wanted to work in IT. I do have some knowledge about little bit of everything, but I don't know. So I would like to try in DevOps.
Okay, that's great. Okay, so we have few experience, some level of experience also. So thank you, Ivanshu. So next I have Priyanka.
Hi, this is Priyanka. I have 2 years of .NET experience with the computer engineering degree, and I'm looking forward to learn DevOps now.
Okay, Priyanka, that's great. Thank you. And I have Rishabh then. I think Rishabh is not here. No problem. So, Manu Arneja.
Hi, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can
Uh,
hear you. Yeah.
I'm Manu from New York. I've spent a few years now as a system admin and recently started picking up more development, trying to bring those worlds together and DevOps now.
Okay, Manu, that's great. You already have some admin experience. That's great. Okay, then Upma.
Hi, I'm Upama and I just recently graduated bachelor's from Oklahoma and I graduated with a degree of computer science and mathematics and I'm looking forward to this class. Thank you.
Okay, great to meet you. And then I have Mahmudul Hassan.
Hello, sir. My name is Mahmoud Hassan Pahlavi.
Hmm.
I have done my graduation on computer science and engineering in back to 2010. It's in Bangladesh. So 2 years ago, I moved to New York. Right now, I am here. So in back to Bangladesh, I had some system administration experience on Caterpillar. You know the cat company Cat.
Yeah,
I
I
was
know.
in there as a system administrator for 2 years. After that, I joined a telecom called Bangla Track Communication. It's a IGW, International Gateway. I was in there as a VoIP engineer. And after that, I also work in Bangladesh. There is a ISP called ADN network. I was in there a technical manager, and
Okay.
I had some experience on system administration and also some development like a code igniter or Laravel and
Okay,
also
great.
some in Java.
Okay, no, that's a great thing. So you have some Laravel like PHP and maybe Symfony also, right?
No, not Symfony. I just learned code igniter and Laravel to get some interface for our billing system, telecom billing system.
Okay,
So some user interface we develop.
okay, great. So okay, thank you, Mahmudul. And then I have Jarges, Mohammed Jarges.
Hey Kamal and everyone, my name is Georges and I live in New York City. I just graduated from New York City College of Technology and I did my bachelor's and my major was computer systems and I actually did
Mhm.
I did double major actually. So I did network administration, security system and IT operations and I do have some experience in this field. Most of the experience that I have, it's based on back office.
Mhm.
The most recent job, the most recent employment that I had was one of the biggest New York City government agency. It's called ACS IT. I was there as a data security service specialist,
Mhm.
and yeah, including that I have over 4 years of experience, and I'm really interested about the new topic, which is the DevOps. And I'm just curious, to know more about it, and then if I like it, probably I'll just pursue it. Yeah, that's pretty much
Okay,
it.
great. Thank you, Jarges, and thank you, guys. So I have it all. So what I understand that we have a mix and match of the freshers and the experienced. And the good thing is that on the fresher side we have a lot of guys who already have experience on the languages also. Like few of them are working on the Python, C++, and from the experience side, we have few of them who have coding experience also. So that's a very good match for this DevOps complete session. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to give you the walkthrough of the syllabus that I'm going to cover, and then I will cover why and how DevOps will help you in your career. What are the major points that, because you took the decision to just attend these sessions, so you must have heard about a lot of things about the DevOps. And I will also give you the walkthrough of how DigiTech will help you, not just the sessions only. After the session, how DigiTech will going to help you till the time you will be comfortable after getting the job, till the time you will be comfortable in the organization. So I have created one slide here. So let me just share my screen. And I hope, guys, I have covered every one of you. I have the list and I just gone through that list. So if any one of you who I missed, please let me know. I started sharing my screen. So these are the topics that we are going to cover here. So we I have divided into these topics, and the topics would be having the subtopics. Like the first one is the Linux. We'll start with the Linux, and then in the Linux we'll cover the introduction, basic Linux commands. We'll start with, then the advanced Linux commands, and then shell script, which is very important part of the Linux, and then package management and the networking concepts. And this is not just all from the Linux side, because in the sessions for the Git, Jenkins, AWS, Ansible, and right away through to the Terraform, Docker, and Kubernetes, we will be working with the Linux platform only. So that's a good thing for us, that will help us to understand and learn more better Linux. And then the second topic is the Git, where I will go through introduction, Git initialization, basic commands, and then Git advanced and GitHub account creation. So so this is my fifth uh, the batch. So I'm taking this as the fifth batch, and till now what I have encouraged throughout my sessions, throughout my batches, I asked every one of the candidate to create their GitHub account, so that because during the sessions I will be going through a lot of things, and I will give you the assignments also. And those assignments will be very important part through for the sessions, because they will give a very good understanding to the training team. So we have the training team which will go through the assignments, and then accordingly they will source your profile in the market. They will create your profile, and then accordingly they will source your profile in the market. So the assignments is very important part of it. So I'll give you assignments, and I'll help you in those assignments to get it done, and then you will upload those assignments to the Git, and that will be very handy for me to share your GitHub account with the training team, rather than sending and spamming them with the assignments on the daily basis. So it would be very helpful just to share the GitHub account with them. They can go there and then see all your work being uploaded by you. So we'll cover Git in because that would again be the part of our most of the activities throughout the session. So we'll be going through Git advanced and GitHub account creation, pushing and pulling from the GitHub repo, and then on the Jenkins side, which we used to call it as a continuous integration. Why we call it continuous integration, and what is the meaning of CI and CD, we'll cover in detail. And then Jenkins introduction and installation, Open JDK Maven installation, basic commands, job creation, configuration, and execution. So after setting up the Jenkins instance, how you can be able to create the job, configure it, and then build your job, create the artifacts, build the code, and then create the artifacts, uploading it to some of the third party artifactory, and then creating the complete CI/CD pipeline. So we'll go through each and every aspect of the Jenkins. And then after that one, Amazon Web Services, which is the preferred choice. But I'm thinking of introducing couple of sessions for the Azure also, because during this fourth session I noticed that not everyone but few of the clients have asked for the uh, Azure also, Azure experience. So I'll give you 2 to 3 sessions on the Azure also, that's for sure. But in the Amazon, we'll cover the basic introduction and the EC2 instances. And here again, I'll encourage you to create your AWS account. AWS provides you the free account, so you can create your free account and then we can quickly start with it. So learning the VPC, that is a virtual private cloud, and then how you can be able to set it up, the VPC, and what are the parts of the VPC. So we'll cover everything. And the good thing here is, guys, we'll create this VPC manually here, and then in the next sessions, following session, the Terraform, I'll let you know how you can create VPC how you can create complete automation to create your VPC and the associated modules for the VPC. So everything will be taken care. So this is for building your understanding here, complete thing. And then this is for building the automation around your understanding, so that everything should be automated. Here we will learn the concept about the security group, CIDR blocks, subnets, availability zones, and then internet gateways, NAT gateways. All of them are the very important part of the VPC. We'll cover the load balancers. We have actually 3 type of load balancers. We will cover 2 here: elastic load balancer and the application load balancer. We have the network load balancer also. And then we'll cover the auto scaling group. What do we mean by auto scaling group? So it means that whenever your application suddenly face some increase in the traffic, how you can be able to auto scale your complete application, so that your application should not be down, and it will be able to manage itself on its own. So I'll show you how you can be able to create the auto scaling group and then support your application. CloudWatch will cover the Route 53. What do we mean by Route 53? It is similar to managing your all the IPs and the addresses and the domains. And I'll show you about the S3 buckets, EBS and EFS, why they are important. So this is about the AWS. We'll cover most of the aspect of AWS here. And then we'll cover Ansible. Ansible nowadays, it's getting a lot of traction in the market because it's very lightweight and it's the agent free. So there's tremendous increase in the Ansible demand in the enterprises. So we'll cover Ansible in very detail. So introduction, installation, Ansible playbook and execution, Ansible roles, dynamic inventory for AWS and execution. So Ansible basically is for configuration management, and configuration management means, so in an organization, there will be thousands of machines, and it will be very difficult to manage all these machines through the manual efforts, manual intervention. Like whenever new employee joins, new account needs to be created, and then that account needs to be shared, and then the supporting roles would be created on all the machines. So it will be taken care with the configuration management tool. So we have the other tools in the market like Chef and Puppet also, but Ansible is very lightweight and it's a very good combination with the Linux platform. Then we'll cover the Terraform. Terraform is basically the infrastructure as a code automation. So whatever you can do on the AWS, like you can create the resources, EC2 instances, you can go and create manually, and then you can create your VPC, and then you can create your databases or auto scaling groups or any load balancer. So whatever you can create on the AWS as the resources, everything can be taken care by Terraform through the automation only. So you will write some code, the Terraform file, that's just a Terraform code, and then you can just run them from your terminal, and then the resources will be created on the AWS. And the best thing is about the Terraform is you just cannot be able to create it. You can be able to manage the infrastructure, manage the resources, and then if you do not require the resources anymore, then you can delete it. So you have the complete control over the state of your infrastructure that you will create on the AWS through the Terraform. And then obviously, you must have heard a lot of things about Docker and Kubernetes. We'll cover them in very detail. Docker is for containerization. I'll tell you about the difference between the containerization and the virtualization, and why Docker initially got a lot of traction. Then there is a slow in its implementation. So implementation means you can create, you can Dockerize your application and then deploy it on the Docker cluster. But nowadays, initially it used to happen that there were Docker Swarm and Docker Compose, and then the UCP also. UCP is Universal Control Plane, which provides the user interface for the Docker, along with the DTR, which is a Docker Trusted Registry, where you can just save your images. So before Kubernetes, all of them are being used extensively in the organization. But after Kubernetes came into the market, organizations shifted from Docker clustering solution to the Kubernetes clustering solution because it is more vast. It is the preferred solution for most of the critical application problems for the organization. So we'll cover everything about the Docker, creating a Docker file, building an image, and then running the image into the container. And you will see that it's very, very fast to just run the image into the container. And then we'll understand about the networking in the container, volume mapping, and then the port mapping. So whatever is running inside the container on a specific port, how you can be able to access it on your machine, I mean outside the container on your machine. So that's because of the port mapping and the volume mapping, we can be able to save the data also. And then I'll tell you about the Docker Compose and Docker Swarm. So Docker Compose is a very quick solution of of running multiple applications in a same environment, in a same network. And so a very good example is like you have a console is for service discovery, and you have a traffic web server, and you have some of the Java web services that is important for your application to support. So these are all the different web services running as the web services, and these are required to support your application. So Compose provide you very good environment where you can write all the services inside the Compose file, and you just have to run that Compose file, and your all the application would be up and running, and you can be able to see your application on a specific port. So this is about the Docker, and then we will learn a lot of things about the Kubernetes, why it is so much in demand, what are the features that provides the solution for critical applications. We'll learn about the high availability of the cluster, and we will just first start with the minikube, which gives you a very quick one node cluster, and then we will move to the highly available cluster on AWS through the kops. Kops is Kubernetes operations. It gives you a highly available Kubernetes cluster on AWS, and then we will deploy our application on it. We'll see it on the URL, and then we will do more deployments, and then we'll learn about the rollback also. Rollback is very important part of the deployment strategy. So we'll learn everything in the Kubernetes sessions. So these are topics that I have prepared, and that will cover a lot of things in your sessions. And I am sure that this is same assurance I have given every one of my candidate, my student here. So the same thing I will give you also, the same assurance that after going through all these sessions, you will feel a lot of confidence in you, and it will give you a lot of understanding, lot of learning about what's happening in the market, and then the actual motive of the DevOps, which is development and operations. So this is all we will cover, and the good thing is that we will cover everything in practical, uh, very little theory and lot of practicals. So this is from the DevOps topics which we're going to cover. And the next thing I'm going to tell you is about the support model of the Digitech. So currently we are going through the session. We'll go through the sessions for next 4 weeks, and then after first week, I'll take one session that will not be related to these topics. I'll take one session about your understanding. If you are lagging behind, if you have something from the maybe the first session or the second session which you are missing in the seventh session, and which you really want to understand, which you go back and learn again. So that one session would be completely devoted to that one, so that if, because in every session I saw that, this is my experience, that few of the guys they learn fast, and few of the candidate guys they are a bit behind. My objective is to have them on a same platform at all times, so I used to take that session to fill that gap actually. So I will take the questions in that session, so that session would be completely devoted to have everyone on the same page. And then it will happen in the second week also, third and fourth week also. And after the completion of the session, again I will take one more session to go through any issue, any error, maybe from your assignments, maybe from your anything that you missed earlier. So that will be totally devoted to that, to all your blockers. And in the daily basis also, very important thing, and on the daily basis, first 10 minutes will be reserved for your blockers. So from tomorrow I'll start with the Linux, and in the third session I will take first 10 minutes, whether you have question from the last sessions, you have some blockers, how I can be able to help you unblock those. So and then a very important thing is that it will not be all just for the sessions only. I will be available for you and your help after the sessions also. So I will share my email ID with you, and then whenever, if and when you will be having any questions, any technical question, just ping me directly. And that's what all my previous candidates, they used to do till now also. They used to ping me and I used to answer them. And generally the I use the time taken for answer is uh, not during the session, it's very fast, and after the session it's not more than 1 day. So this is something which is happening till now. And after the sessions, yeah, when the training team, they will start sourcing your profile according to your progress in the sessions. They will help you in getting your jobs. I will help you in getting the jobs. Yeah, because there will be a lot of proxies that we will be taking, and I have taken a lot of proxies. I'm taking the proxies right now also. On the daily basis I used to take 2 to 3 proxies. And then after clearing it for you, after you join, then we will start with the support model. And the support model would be not just you will be assigned something, will be working. It will also be like how you have to behave, how you have to answer. Few of you are already experienced, you know how to answer technically. But when it comes to DevOps, it matters, because the DevOps field is such where there is a lot of expectation built around from the different teams. Like I'm working closely with the developer treat us as a master of everything. They think that we know the development, we know the configuration management also, we know everything, each and every aspect of the application development. So that's a good thing, and that's not a bad thing. But it differs from organization to organization also. So we will let you know how to answer particular questions, and maybe you need to be you don't have to answer at the same time. Maybe you can say, okay, I'll go through this one, I'll create a POC, and then maybe tomorrow I'll get back to you with more uh, refine and more extensive POC, so that we can have a meeting and then go. I'll give you a walkthrough of it, something like that. So it depends actually. So and at the same time, we'll support you in your assignments also. So that will give you very good confidence. It will be for first month, and then if you think that for the next month also you need support, that will be there also. So don't worry about it. And the same thing, I have supported many candidates till now also. I'm supporting, but due to my other obligations, I used to give them a little bit time, because now they are mature in their work, so they think that okay, if I give 15, 20 or 30 minutes, that would be enough. That's what I'm doing currently. So a very good example is, there is a guy, Muhammad Sumair. So when he joined, so he do not have much experience, but he was very confident about speaking. So he got assignments on the Ansible and Jenkins, and then he was very worried about how to start with it, because he was not able to understand it initially. But then since he was having the support, and I supported him, and in 10 days from the first day he was very worried, and then after 10 days he was very confident about the complete Ansible tower and the complete execution. And now I suggested him implementing the Terraform for the automation solution. He implemented it, and then they his manager liked this idea very much. So this is how one thing relates to the second one. And then once you get very comfortable on your current assignments, you can uh, suggest some good solutions from the automation side. So I'm speaking till now, guys. I'll take a pause here, and I'll ask for your, if you have any question. So just ask me here. And after this one, I will give you the walkthrough of the DevOps, why you need DevOps, what are the advantages of it. So before that one, if you have any question till now, guys, just ask me, please.
So one thing, Docker is a part of AWS or different things?
No, Docker is different, AWS is different.
Okay,
But
okay.
obviously, now, because AWS is providing most of the solutions as a managed solution. So they have started sometime back, I think, a couple of years back, they started with the ECS, which is Elastic Container Services.
Yeah.
Yeah, so which is the solution on the AWS for the Docker.
Oh, okay, okay.
Yes, and similarly,
Okay.
you can install the Kubernetes locally on your bare metals, and then same solution you can have it on the Kubernetes on the AWS also, as a COPS or as a EKS, Elastic Kubernetes Services, and same solution you can have it on the Azure also. So it's all about giving the solution as a managed services.
Oh, okay, okay.
Yes. Any other
Thank
question? Okay. So guys, now I'm going to tell you about the DevOps. So I have one slide with me which I did not have prepared, but yeah, I got it uh, from online, from the web. So let's start in very basic about the DevOps. So there's the traditional development and operation approach which we used to have a few years back. Like there is a silo here. There's a wall of confusion. Like developer used to code something and operation used to deploy the same thing. So developer used to code. They used to build it on their local, and then they used to create the executable or the artifact, and then operation team is basically responsible for deploying that artifact. This is the model that used to be there a few years back, when all the domains works as a silo, like developers development area is a silo, operations area is a silo, DBAs have to have their own silo, and then the networking, they have their own silo. So developer, they create the artifact, they used to push it on the depots. Earlier we used to have the depots where developer used to push their code with the timestamp, with the version number, and operation team will pick it from there and they will deploy it on the target machines. It may be the QA machines, it may be the pre-prod, or it may be the production. So they used to deploy it there, and then networking team, they will work in tandem. They will open the ports so that application would be available on certain ports, and before that one, for the deployment, they will open few ports, and after the deployment they will close the ports. Same thing, DB is when we used to have the DB deployments, DB scripts deployments, DBAs will come into the picture, they will deploy it. And if something fails, they are the person who used to have the rollback. Now, what happens is that, uh, so earlier we used to have the silos, like I said, developers, operations, DBA, networking, and and maybe the other if required. So now we have the DevOps, and DevOps is basically someone who have the quality of the developer, who have the quality of the operations, who knows very much about the DBAs also, like how to deploy the code, and then if it requires, how to roll back the database first and then the application, and then how to roll back into the previous version also, previous application version, and then who also have very good understanding about the networking and about the other aspects of maybe the monitoring, also monitoring side. So DevOps is basically needs to have good understanding about all these fields. But you do not have, at the same time, I'm not saying that you need to be a developer to be a DevOps. I'm not saying that you need to be a system administrator to be a DevOps, and at the same time, I'm not saying that you need to be a DBA. It's a mix and match of all the qualities. Why? Because then only you can be able to just remove this wall of confusion from that one. So you will create, by removing this one, you can be able to create a pipeline around your automation about your application deployment, right away from when it is developed, and then the time it will be deployed as an artifact on the target machine. So this is a very basic model, a traditional model of the developing the application and then deploying the application. And then I said that DevOps is a development and operations collaboration. So DevOps is treating your infrastructure as a code. We'll come to it. And then we have the different strategies for Kanban and Agile also. So DevOps is small deployments. DevOps is using automation. Why small deployments? I'll come to it also, that the significance of small deployments. And then DevOps is using automation. Obviously, that's how the whole thing is possible. And then, so it's basically a three-stage process: the process and the products. So collaboration of people is very important. Like, I can tell you my experience. Like I have a team who is working closely with the developer. I've done the same thing also. So we are working very closely with the developers. When I say very closely, means that it's not just about sitting with them, it's about supporting them in their development activities. So what I used to do is, when we start working with on any feature, on any change, we used to create one full environment for the developers and on the AWS, and then handing that environment to the developers. That environment would be having all the complete application. So obviously they would be working on some application. Like I'm working on one of the very big airline client. They have their application. I'm working on that application. Developers are working on to improve the application. So it's like, currently that airline is domestic, and they are next this year they are going to go international. So they will start with the Mexico as their first international flight. So now we know that they are going to go international. So developers here, they started working on the change. For them, the change is they need to code all the required things to go international. So they will code and will support in their coding activities. How? So they will require some environment where they can quickly deploy. Obviously not the production environment, they can test it all their changes. They will require some development environment where they can deploy their code and they can test their changes. So they will develop the international code, they will deploy it onto the development environment, they will test it there. They will do some bad testing, and if once they're good, they will ask me to just deploy it on the queue environment, which is more a kind of replica to the production. So I will deploy it on the queue environment, which is a kind of, again, the highly available, where the most of the application would be running in highly available mode. So I'll deploy the code on the Q environment, and then there would be QA testing on, because we have a QA team also. So QA team will run all their testing, the functional test, the regression test, and then they will create a report. They will send it across. Once it is approved, we'll get a kind of sign off on the Q environment, and then we can move on the next environment, which is the staging. Obviously we will not do all the regression testing on the staging, but just a kind of bad testing, so that, because staging is just a kind of replica of the production. It have all the load balancer at the top, and then it have all the highly available uh, applications, and then it is just a kind of production environment. So that we'll test our application in the staging, and then we can be rest assured that if it's running well in staging, it will be running well in production also. Once we got the sign off in the production, then we can just move ahead with our production timeline, production schedule. So we will deploy it on the production, then will be on the standby for some time. If we get if it goes fine for like 2 to 3 days, we are good. If something happens, I mean, if it's not gone good, we'll get a call from the customer care. They will create a priority ticket on the Jira. We'll start working on that one. We'll start with the hotfix. Hotfix is, again, we'll learn in the Git branching strategies about the hotfix. So hotfix is something like, which will needs to be taken care at the highest priority with the highest priority, and it have a SLA. Like we need to get it done within maybe 4 hours, maybe 6 hours. That depends on the SLA time period. So, but it have always have the highest priority. So this is the model. Now I'm working is, like I said, that I used to provide them the environment, and then I used to support them in their development deployment, I mean the build and release activity. I need to create the CI/CD pipeline. Currently I'm using the Bamboo, and we have the Jenkins also. I will create complete pipeline on the Bamboo, like how to build it, like how to check in the code, and then how to build it, how to integrate it with the Sonar Cube, how to integrate it with the HP45, or how to integrate it with the external services, then create the artifact RPM maybe, and then upload it to the a repository, external repository, from where it can be deployed on the target machines. So this is the CI/CD pipeline, and then after that, supporting the developers in their deployment activities. Sometimes they got some error on the build side also. Maybe the agent machine is not working. Maybe uh, you know the artifacts are not given with the proper version information, and then there is a problem in the deployment. So we will go through all these errors, will take the logs, go through the logs to understand what's happening, what is the exact problem, and then accordingly we will resolve it. So this is about supporting the development team. This is one part of the activity. Second part of the activity is, so I told you that we'll create the full environment. Now we have created complete automation in around creating this full environment. How? So we have created the Terraform automation of creating all the resources on the AWS. All the resources mean all the environments. So let's say if I'm creating one full environment, it have the application boxes, if it have the databases boxes, obviously it would be having some authentication services, and then it would be having the other services like the console, or maybe the maybe the monitoring services also. So we will create all the boxes. So the kind of dev environment I'm creating for the development team, it have 82 boxes, close to 82 boxes in one environment. Now creating these 82 boxes manually, it will take around one day, full one day, but I'm able to create it in just 2 hours. In 2 hours I can be able to create the full environment infrastructure in AWS. And then it comes to the provisioning. Now once we create the environment, we need to provision it also, provision with the application. So we are using Ansible and Ansible Tower for provisioning with the application. So this is about the automation. This is called the complete automation, and we call it infrastructure as a code automation. So this is about the people, like when developer and operation, they come together, they can be able to create the complete pipeline around their operations about whatever they are doing. Whatever, when I say they, whatever the developer are doing, we can be able to create the complete automation. And it's not just, you will be integrating it, you will be configuring it, you need to write a lot of code also. So operations, so like I'm creating the Python scripts also for to automate my things. I used to create the shell scripts also, and then I used to create the lot of Terraform scripts and the Ansible scripts. It's all code also. So when I say Terraform, it have the SCL which is used, and when I say Ansible, it use a lot of Python also in it. So this is all about coding. Then processes, like I said, that when the developer operation, they come together, they can create a lot of processes around their uh, whatever they're doing. So it's all about one of the process, the continuous integration. One of it is the continuous deployment. Then we have the continuous monitoring. Then we have the continuous testing also. So we can be able to create all the processes to build a very sophisticated pipeline, automation pipeline. And then to complete this process, to create the complete pipeline, obviously we would be requiring different products. uh, Not the products, I mean the technology stack. So that differs according to the platform. So because the organization who are working on the Windows, they prefer to go with the Chef, or they prefer to go with the .NET language, and those who are working on the Linux, they prefer to go with the Java or the Ansible as their preferred solution. Now once you create the processes, then the products would be very easy to deploy or to release. So it would be very easy for you to release your changes, your products on demand basis. So for an example, uh, like we have had the Christmas. On the Christmas, Amazon used to give lot of or release a lot of offers. So there are other vendors in the market who used to roll out a lot of offers. So it's very easy for them because I can tell you a few of the stat that Amazon used to deploy 1,000 times a day. Netflix used to deploy 1,000 times a day. How they can be able to do it? Because they have created the processes, and then it's after they have created the processes, it's very easy for them to release their products on 1,000 times a day. So this is the impact of it. So it helps gaining the attraction. So if you can be able to release your product as soon as you want, you will get greatest customer satisfaction. And then it will increase you the revenue also. So we'll come to that one maybe in this one, I think. So here somewhere we can say that, the consequence of inefficiency. So this is about, if you are still on the manual side, and you have to deploy manually, or if your pipeline is not that so sophisticated, you will be having the consequences on the of the inefficiencies. Like we can start with here. 40% of implementation end up getting reworked because they don't meet the user's original requirements. Oh, it's a very important point to start with the monitoring also. Now what happens is that, once you code and once you deploy it on your development machines, and then or maybe on the QA machines, QA environment, then the testing team, the QA team will start regressing, you testing the code regressively. They will do the functional testing also, and then they will come up with the reports that, the code is not behaving or working as per the expectations, so we need to rework on the code. So these are the very early stage. It's not about, you deploy the code, you experience something there, and then you will be able to understand, something bad is happening there, it needs to be reworked. It's on the very early stage you come to the conclusion that the code is not so efficient, and that's a very good time that you can be able to rework on your code, um, and then again, deploy it on the QA machine. The QA will again test it, they will create the reports, and then now they will say that okay, the code is good now. Then we can move ahead to deploy it on the staging machines. Then we can see that the page which is expected to be opened in 4 seconds or load in 4 seconds is now loading in 3.5 seconds. That's a good improvement. But if it is loading in 4.5 seconds, it need to be reworked. It is not as per expectation. So these are the very early stage where you can be able to rework on your code. And then obviously the monitoring part, if something happens, like something happens on the due to the code, if something happens on the environment, like the environment is not supporting your application, we can be able to understand that implications also. And then we can make our infrastructure more robust. Like I told you the example of going to the international. So this airline client is going to the international. Obviously we need to improve our infrastructure also, because once it will go to the international, more traffic will come onto the application. So till now, we used to expect that 5 lakh or maybe 7 lakh customers will hit on the application on the daily basis, and that too in some of the peak hours, in the biggest time hours maybe. But when you go international, we are expecting that the load will increase to the 15 lakh customers maybe. Now think of the situation where you do not have improved on your infrastructure, you have improved on your application side, you have made all the changes on the application side to take on the customer increase, but at the same time you did not have improved on your infrastructure. What will happen then? Your infrastructure would not be self-sustained. It will there will be a great chance of crashing it. So we have to work upon all the aspects of the application. It's not just about the code, it is about the infrastructure also. So now think from the bigger picture, where you as a DevOps needs to be involved in all the aspect of the application lifecycle. So one thing I can assure you, do not have to work on the Java code or on the .NET code, but you need to have the understanding about, once you have the artifact with you, how you can be able to make it more efficient from the deployment perspective and from the infrastructure perspective. And then the monitoring system, as a monitoring system, we have different solutions like the app dynamics, and we have the sumo logic also. And nowadays, since AWS have already have given a lot of managed monitoring solutions, so we can just start with like the CloudWatch or the CloudTrail. They have given a lot of solutions, monitoring solutions. So these are also the preferred solutions by the organizations. Like we are very soon we are going to onboard with the AWS managed monitoring solutions, because we have a lot of licensing problems with the Sumo logic, and obviously App Dynamics have a very huge licensing cost. So but at the same time, AWS provides us a very reasonable costing structure. So it's a preferred choice for us. We very soon we are going to onboard with it. So this is all about and very important thing is that, like I said initially, if you have a sophisticated pipeline, if you are able to build that, then you can be able to deploy multiple times a day effectively and efficiently according to your requirement. Like Netflix have the requirement to deploy it multiple times, Amazon have the requirement to deploy it multiple times, but maybe banks, if you're working in a bank, maybe banks do not deploy it multiple times, maybe they do not deploy a single time in a day. Maybe they have a strategy of deploying it 15 times, once in a 15 days, or maybe once in a month. But we have created a DevOps pipeline. We are in a DevOps area, and an era rather, I should say. But still banks do not adopt this strategy of deploying, but because they do not have the business need of it. So it depends on the organization to organization also. Whereas insurance, maybe at some time they will deploy it weekly, because I have a very good experience working with the Royal Bank of Canada. So I was working in their wealth management, so we used to deploy it every 15 days. Whereas at the same time, the insurance, they used to deploy it every week. And then capital markets, they used to deploy it again, once in every 10 days, something like that. So it depends accordingly, according to the products. So once you are able to create your pipeline, sophisticated pipeline, then it's all upon you. You can deploy it multiple times, you can deploy it according to the requirement, according to the business requirement, totally. And then as fast as you can go to the customers, you can be able to get the feedback quickly, and then the developers can be able to work on those feedbacks, and then again they can deploy their code according to the feedbacks. So this is the advantages of creating the pipeline and then deploying your code through the pipeline effectively on the target machines. So this is it's a actually it's a 2015 report. We have the report from the 2019 also, but it will be more or less the same. Like the strong IT performance is a competitive advantage, and then the best advantage is this one: deploy code 30 times faster. It is improving a lot, on the yearly basis. Have a 60 times fewer failures. Yeah, because why? Because most of the failures you can be able to work at the very early stage, because in QA environment, if you have the automation, and you can be able to rework on your code according to the QA feedbacks. And then if your application again has few problems, it can be reworked after the staging area. And then since you have the monitoring solution also, you can be able to work at the same time on the infrastructure side also. So guys, I will take a pause here. Again, I would like to have few questions from you. If any one of you have any question, please ask me. I
So
hope
I
that
have a
generate.
question.
Yeah, please. Sure.
So, as per your lecture, that's what I understand. There is two parts in your organization. One is operator, one is developer. So, DevOps cooperate on in both team, right? They are the bridge between those two teams.
Yeah. So if we go by the definition, the written definition, DevOps is a kind of bridge between the developers and the operations. So operations, earlier I have worked in the operation also earlier. So our operations guys are the guys who will deploy your code, who will assist and deploy your code. Uh, if something failed there, they will let developers know that
Okay.
the
Yeah.
code have been failed, and then the developer will start their develop again the development activities. But now what happens is
So,
that there is no operations most of the time in the effective organizations where they have implemented the DevOps effectively. We do not have any operations. We have the developers, but then we have the DevOps are the
yeah.
guys who have the understanding of deploying the application artifacts and the database artifacts. If something goes wrong, they have the rollback process. And again, if the things that there's something specific to the databases that happen, then they can involve the DBAs in between. But the DevOps, they have created the prime responsibility is to create the sophisticated DevOps pipeline so that there will be no requirement from anyone to intervene all the time for your deployment. So effective pipeline means developer, the time the developer check in their code, they can be able to see it in the development environment. How it can be
So,
possible, you need to create the pipeline. So here in the pipeline, there will not be someone to take up the code and then deploy it. No, it will not be like that. It will be the pipeline that will build the code, so that the developer, they will check in their code in the Bitbucket or maybe the GitHub, and immediately, because we have the triggers, immediately the build will be triggered, the Jenkins build will be triggered, and once the Jenkins build will be triggered, it will build the code, and then it will just uh, you know uh,
the
create the
package is built, right? Mm.
yeah, the package will be created, and before that, it will be it will be gone through all the unit testing and the code coverage, and the code coverage result would be uploaded to the Sonar Cube. And then to because nowadays we have the different security uh, you know um security applications also, like the HP45, which will scan your code. Because if when
Okay.
we build our Java application, we used to pull in the dependencies also, right? So the
Yeah.
pom.xml, it will pull in some of the
Yeah. Right.
dependencies. Now, to scan through the dependencies, maybe because we need to make sure that those dependencies would not be having some the bad code, or maybe the virus, or maybe something that way, right? So we need to scan
Yeah.
them out.
Maybe the link is gone. Yeah.
Yeah. So the HP45 is a very good tool where it will give you the security, assurance. It will scan your code for any application vulnerability.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah. And then so
So
it's
we
all
have a
about
lot of tools.
integrating.
Yeah.
Yeah, we have a lot of tool. It's all about integrating. So you have to integrate all the
All
links,
those. Yeah.
and then create the artifact like the RPM, or maybe the jar or var file, or in the case of .NET, the DLL files, package them and then
Yeah.
upload it to the Artifactory. Now we used to use the Nexus or the JFrog Artifactory as the third party artifactories. Upload it there, and then
Okay.
we have the deployment model which we call continuous deployment. We will pull in those artifacts and then we will deploy it on the target machines,
Okay.
right? So this is the basic CI/CD model, and in between, obviously, we used to have the CT, which is the continuous testing. Once we will go through the continuous testing, and once we got the approvals, then we can go ahead to deploy it on the target machines.
So I have one more question. So how many environment DevOps create for a organization? So how
So
many? Say one for
generally,
the QA, one for the developers, and
yes.
then what?
Yeah, so generally, like take it this way: we have development environment, we have queue environment, and then we have
Okay.
the pre-prod. In some organization, they used to call it pre-prod. In some organization, they used to call it staging also. In some environment, they used to call it final stage, and then after that one, we used
o-
to have the production environment.
Okay.
So these are the basic environments, and the development environment is the one that you need to create for the developers.
And what about the database? For database people, for database, how can we protect them?
For the databases, they actually, once you create the full environment, it have the databases also, right?
So it should be
Like,
separate or it is included?
it will be included in the in the environment only.
Okay.
So database, like QA environment would be having their own database, and then development environment they would be having their
Yeah.
own
Okay.
database.
Okay.
So these environment would be having their own databases. Now, when we
Okay.
create the development environment, we will flush the database, and then we will the we will upload all the data from the production database.
So DevOps have the responsibility to protect the production database, right? They have no access on there.
It depends again, it depends from organization to organization, but in
Okay.
most of the time you would not be having any access to the databases
Okay.
initially.
Production
But
database. Yeah.
once you spend time in in the organization, maybe after 1 year, maybe after 6 months, they will give you some enhanced the access also.
Oh, okay. Okay. Got it.
But obviously, initially you will not be having databases in most of the organization. So this is about the environments you need to create, and then setting up the CI/CD pipeline for the development team. And then the continuous monitoring is very important aspect, because maybe you already have the Nagios as a monitoring solution, but you need to have one solution for the application also. And like we are using Sumo Logic as the preferred solution. At the same time, we are using the App Dynamics, but we are thinking of moving to the AWS very soon.
Okay. They also developing some monitoring tool, right?
Yes.
Okay. Okay. So Nagio is what we see in network administration side. We saw it to monitor the host, but how can it monitor the process or this coding thing? They have the ability on
No,
Nagio?
no, no, no. That's why I told you, like the Nagios is for the infrastructure, and then
Oh, okay.
the
Okay.
App Dynamics or maybe the Sumo Logic, they will monitor your application
Oh,
performance,
okay. Okay.
application performance. Yes.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah. So any other question, guys, from anyone else?
Can you share the PPT so that we can just go through it once in the spare time?
Sure. I'll share with you. No problem.
Okay, thank
And
you.
So what
one
I'm
more thing, you also shared the video also. Did you capture the session?
this one, which we are talking now?
The training session. You also give us the class video also. By that we can study more.
Right, right. So, so currently, what we are, what I've done is I started the recording initially when we started the session. So what I used to
Okay,
do
thank
is I
you.
used to record them, and then I used to share it with all everyone after the session. So that's what I will be doing. I will, after this session, I will share the recording with you guys, and then you
Okay,
can go
thank you.
through it. Also, one more thing is there. I will, on the Google Drive, I will create one drive there, and I will upload all these
Okay.
documents, and I'll share the access with you guys. So, okay, any other question, guys? Okay, so that's a good thing. So now the next very important part is, how to start with it. So, I initially I did not have asked, but most of you would be working on the Windows, and maybe most of you have some experience on the Linux side. So what I'm going to suggest you is you start working. Or also, can anyone of you can tell me, how many of you already have the access on the AWS? Already have created the account on AWS?
I have.
I have.
I have also.
I also have it.
I do.
Okay,
I don't have it.
okay, no problem. So the guys who already have the AWS account, that's a very good thing. So what I can suggest you is you can create direct, quickly create one EC2 instance, maybe the Ubuntu or maybe the RHEL, whatever you think good, you can create the same. And because going forward, I would be working completely on the Linux, and so I hope it would be fine with you. So if you want me to quickly go through how to create an EC2 instance, I can do that one if you want. And if you're already good, then that's fine. So I prefer you guys to create EC2 instance, the Linux instance, and then we can quickly start with it. And the guys who do not have it, if they can install it on their machines, maybe those who do not have the AWS account, maybe they have the this one, uh, Mac
Virtual
OS
machine.
with them. So if you have the Mac OS, then you probably don't have to do anything because the terminal provide you the same feature. So now it comes to the Windows users. So how many of you have the are the Windows user?
I have
I am.
Windows.
I use Windows.
I have Windows.
Oh,
Windows and Mac.
Windows and Mac. Okay. Okay, that's not a problem again. So if you can be able to again, on the Windows, how many of you do not have the Windows 10? I mean, who have less than Windows 10?
I have Windows 10.
Even I have
Uh,
Windows 10.
Okay.
I have
No,
8.1.
no, any one of you who have lesser version than the Windows 10, maybe Windows 8, maybe Windows XP or
I do.
something like. Oh, Mohsin, you have it, right?
Yeah, it's 8.1.
Okay. Okay. Mohsin, can you do one thing for me, please?
Yeah,
If
yeah.
can you please upgrade it to at least Windows 10?
Uh, yeah, I will.
Why
But
I'm asking is, I just want to give you the workaround for the Linux environment, and that's a very effective solution. So, I'll give you the Vagrant file. Now, Vagrant is one of very effective solution. For that one, you need to install the virtual box on your machine. Why virtual box? Because virtual box is very lightweight in comparison to the VMware. So
okay.
you install the VirtualBox, you install the Vagrant, and then I will give you one Vagrant file. Using that one, you can quickly have, I think in 5 minutes, you will be having your Linux box up and running on your machine.
Kamal, I have a question.
Yeah.
So,
Yes.
I'm not sure, that's what I'm asking. So, if I create an EC2 instance
Mm-hmm.
through AWS, right? So I
Right.
heard that there is a billing part, like if you don't, like, terminate the instance, I mean, during that time, I think the time is probably like 30 hours or something. By the time, if you
Well,
don't kill it, then
no, no.
they
Well,
start charging you.
I got your point. So judges, well, the good thing is, if you are still under the free account, so free account means, they used to give you some hours, free hours for 1 year, and you can use it for T2.micro, and that would be enough for us to complete our sessions. So what you can do is, when we start with the session, you create that EC2 instance, and then when we are done, you terminate it. Do not stop it also. If it is something important, then you stop it. Otherwise, you terminate it on the daily basis. You created one and then you delete it.
Okay,
That
thank
would
you.
that would be more effective. That would not be that would not attract any dollar on your account, right?
Yeah, that makes sense.
Okay. Oh, great. So, and I think it would be good, guys. So again, just to reiterate, repeat, the candidates, the guys who are already on the Windows 10, they are fine. Tomorrow I will give you very quickly about how you can install. So maybe before that one, today itself you can install, at least you can install the Vagrant box. No, no, sorry, you can install the virtual box and the Vagrant on your machine. And Mosin, it would be great if you can just quickly upgrade to the Windows 10 and then install virtual box and Vagrant, and then I can quickly give you a so it will be download. It's very easy to download and install it on the um, Windows. Download and install VirtualBox. And one more thing, uh, Mohsin, if you do not want to upgrade it, then probably what you can do is you can quickly create the AWS account. That
All
is
right.
very quick. It is free for everyone. For initially, it is free for everyone. Free means you can be able to use T2.micro, not just T2.micro, no instance above that. So and that T2.micro would be enough for us for our all the practicals. So if you can create one AWS account, and then I can show you how you can be able to create the EC2 instance quickly.
All right. So should I do it right now or after the session?
It's your choice. You can. What I can do is I can show you here how to create the EC2 instance. That
Oh,
would be on the recorded line. You can go through it again, and then maybe after you have your AWS account, you can create EC2
all
instance.
right. Yeah, that'll be great.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Before that one, this is the virtual box. You can install it. So every one of you who first of all, my preference is to create the EC2 instance or the AWS account. Everyone, if you can create AWS account, that would be great, because that would help us going forward effectively. So if you can create the AWS account, that is good. Otherwise, on Windows 10 user, you can install VirtualBox on Windows 10, and it's very easy. You can install it, download and install it on your machine, and then download and install Vagrant on Windows 10. So you can download it from here. Download Vagrant by HashiCorp. Then on the Windows, it's very easy. After you download either VirtualBox or Vagrant, you double click on the executable, and it will be like next, next, next. So here, this is the link. So what I can do is I can quickly uh, ping you guys here also. It's for everyone. Then over here we have the Windows 64-bit. Click on 64-bit, it will start download here. So once it is download, you go to your download folder, double click on the executable. It will be just matter of 5 minutes. It will be installed, and then I think maybe you need to restart your machine. So just restart your machine, and then after that, VirtualBox and Vagrant would be up and running on your machine. And then after that one, how to create the Linux box, I'll let you know about that one. So this is about your Vagrant. And now coming back to uh, so now I'm going to log on to the or I can log in from here, AWS account. I'm logging into my AWS account. Go to the EC2. Or you can go directly to the EC2 dashboard also. Or here you have the launch instance. Click on launch instance. So you will be having here, all the machines. So just look for all the free tier eligible for you. Now you can either choose free tier eligible for Red Hat or free tier eligible for Ubuntu. So let's say you select for Red Hat, and then you can go ahead to just 64-bit and then select it. So so this if you just hover on this green one, free tier eligible, you will see here like micro instances are eligible for the AWS free usage tier for the first 12 months, that is 1 year following your AWS sign up date. You get up to 750 hours of micro instances. So you'll get around 750 hours of the micro instance, which is a T2.micro, and then you can be able to use it. So and then next, configure instance details. Here you can provide number of instances. I need just one. So you would be having a default VPC, just choose that default VPC. You already would be having one default one, just choose that one. I am having these lot of, so you would be having default, just choose that one. Subnet, you will already be having some default one, choose that. And then auto send, make it enable, and then go down. Do not do anything else here, you don't have to do anything. Then go to the add storage. Here 10 GB is good, no problem. Add tags. If you require, you can add any tag like name, uh, like dev machine. Now configure security group. You would be having some existing security group, just choose that one, default one, that would be fine for you. I am selecting this all ports, so all ports are open in this one, so I would be able to access my machine. Review and launch here. Now it will be, yeah, this is for the, this warning is for, I know this one because it says that your security group all ports is open to the world. I'm good with this, no problem. Then launch. uh, Here what you can do is choose an existing pair. What you can do is you choose the create a new key pair, right? Create a new key pair and then give the name of that new key pair. It will be like create a new key pair, give the new key pair, and then once you give the new key pair, download the key pair first. Do not click on launch instance before downloading the key pair. After giving the name here, download the key pair. So I already have few of the keys with me, so I will select from those only. This one, yeah, I'll select this. I acknowledge launch instance. I have different problem here because maybe subnet, it's already occupied. It's for the 256 IPs, it's already occupied, I think. So I can so that will not be a problem for you. That's a problem for me because I do not have enough free addresses, IP addresses. But the process that I have told you till here, it will be fine for you, it will work flawless for you. Then you just go ahead, create your instance. Once it is created, you can be able to access your instance. How? I can tell you. Make sure, so you can do it from here also, like click on your instance which has been created and actions, connect. Now see here, the key that you have created, that you have downloaded, the key pair that you have, PEM key, that will be downloaded on your machine. Make sure it have the 400 permission. So run this command on your machine, and I mean not exactly this one, it will be the different name for your PEM key. Run this command in the same folder where your key is downloaded. Chmod 400 is just a kind of read permission for the user. I'll tell you more about what do we mean by this one when we start with the Linux. And then after you do it, you can go ahead to just log on to your machine using the SSH-I. If you want to use, then you can use the IP, your IP also. Whatever the IP, you can be able to get it from here. You can see here the IP. This is the private IP. You can just pick it up. and then it will be good. You can be able to log on to your machine. So that will be all for you guys. And tomorrow I'll tell you, how you can be able to access your machine, and then what you can do inside after logging into the machine. We'll start with our Linux session from tomorrow onwards. So guys, any question till now? If you have any question, please ask me. Well, then I think it's good. So yeah, Mohsen, I think you have some question.
Yeah, I have a question. So if I make the account on AWS, so it will be good to continue with this window, right?
Can you say again, please, Mohsen?
I was saying if I make the account on AWS, so it will be good to continue with this window, right?
Exactly, exactly.
And
Yeah, it will
laptop
be
there.
good. Yes, not a problem then. It will be
Uh,
good.
yeah, I'll make the account right now after the
Ye-
session.
Yes, yes. Because
Thank you.
then what we can do is, what we can do is we can quickly install one putty application on your machine, and then from putty we can be able to access or your all the EC2 instances on your local machine.
All right.
Yeah.
All good. Thank
And
you.
then, sure, Mohsin, thanks. And guys, who already are on the Windows 10, if you have any question, please ping me. Do not hesitate. Whenever you would be working, do not block yourself. I can share my email address here.
No, I have a
It is,
question.
yeah, just yes.
Yeah, so I'm a little confused about the Vagrant, I mean, this app. I mean, how this is gonna work, and I think I missed that part. Like, do we have to download both, like, Vagrant app and the VirtualBox, or just either or?
Exactly. So, tell me one thing, Jarvis. Are you familiar with the VirtualBox or the VMware? What it
Yes, I
does?
am.
Okay. So what it does is it creates a virtual machine for us, right?
Right,
And then we can be able to log on to that machine, and then we can work anything what we want there, right?
right.
Same thing, we can be able to achieve it through the Vagrant. Now, the best thing, very good thing is Vagrant provides the kind of automation. So currently, if you want any virtual machine from the VirtualBox, what you used to do is you will go to the VirtualBox, right click new machine, and then once it is pop up, then you will select first of all the flavor, maybe the Red Hat, Ubuntu, or Kali Linux, or whatever the Linux flavor you will want. So you create select the flavor, and then you go inside to give the RAM information, the storage information, the name and everything, and then you have to give the disk also, right, from where it will take the disk, right? And
Right,
then and then you need to do a lot of things on the VirtualBox, right?
right, right.
Now, Vagrant give you the power to just bypass that manual process. So on the VirtualBox, so now VirtualBox will be working here in a headless manner. So you will be creating machine on the VirtualBox, but without going to the VirtualBox, anything doing it manually there, because using Vagrant you will create the Vagrant file, just like a kind of Docker file. You will create a Vagrant file, we will code something there, we'll give all the information about the host name, about the machine name, about the RAM information, networking information, and then the storage information. Everything will give in the Vagrant file, and then we'll run the Vagrant file,
Okay, great. And
right?
which operating system do you want us to download in that Vagrant file?
I can show you here. So that will remove a lot of questions. Hope you guys can be are able to see my this machine, right?
Yes, this is Linux, right? The Ubuntu, right?
Ubuntu, yeah.
Okay.
Uh, big batch for CD. Yeah, so we have the Vagrant file here. So this is the Vagrant file I've created. So this is the CentOS 7, right? So CentOS 7 I have given. So what it will do, it will just download the CentOS 7 box. I have given all the information here, like the image, and then this will be the machine name, this will the fully qualified domain name, and then this is the IP that I've given. I have hard coded it. That's a very good, because here in this Vagrant file I think I'm creating three machines. Yeah, I'm creating three machines with the IP 10, 11 and 12. And then I am giving VirtualBox as a provider, which will be running in a headless manner. So what I can do quickly for you is, I think I can quickly create it for you. You will be having good understanding. And for these machines, which I'm creating three machines, I'm giving 2 gigs of RAM. Here you can see, right? I'm giving 2 gigs of RAM. So what I can do for you is, I can create only one, maybe one machine that will give you very good understanding, and insert this. Okay, now we have one end here and one end last, so that's fine. So what I can do now, simple thing I can do is Vagrant up, right? Vagrant up. Let's see what happens. So it started. Now I have the same machine is coming up, which the name I have given inside the Vagrant file, Docker. So you can see that now my machine is up and running, so I can see it. If you want to see the Vagrant commands, you can run it like Vagrant hyphen help. So I have used the up, start and provision the Vagrant environment, and then you can use login, Vagrant login Docker. So, and then you can use the one of the other command is Vagrant status. You can use Vagrant status also. So my one machine is up and running. Machine name is Docker Vagrant login Docker, or not the login, SSH. You will use SSH, Vagrant SSH Docker. So you now you're inside the Vagrant machine. You can see here now. If you're currently, I was on the Ubuntu, and my this environment is a CentOS. I can show you here, cat etc Red Hat release. This is the CentOS, right? I was inside this Ubuntu, but now I'm logging into the CentOS machine. Same thing happens with you also. You can do it on your Windows. From Windows, you can be able to log on to the CentOS machine. So that's fine. So now I can be able to work anything here, and it would be having the same host name that I have set it up, docker.example.com. It would be having the same IP that I've set it up, .10. You can see here. And then if you do not want it anymore, you can come out of it, and then Vagrant destroy Docker, destroy it when you do not require it anymore. Yes. So this is very simple, guys, and it is very fast also at the same time. You can do it this way also. So any question, guys? So judges, hope it would be good now.
Yeah. So I'm planning on downloading the Vagrant and then put the Ubuntu OS on it. I think that would be good.
Awesome. No problem. That will be good. Yeah. So if you want Ubuntu on it, then you just have to update your Vagrant file from CentOS to Ubuntu. Then for Ubuntu, it would be, I think, you can check it on the Vagrant here also. You can check it here for all the boxes. What I can do is,
I can also download the Windows too, right?
which one? Windows Vagrant box.
Yeah.
You can create it also. You can create it for Windows also, but I never have created for Windows because most of the time I've created for the Linux, either Ubuntu or the CentOS.
Okay, perfect. No, Ubuntu is fine too.
Yeah. So maybe what we can do is uh, Vagrant box for Ubuntu. Yeah. So you can use this one, and we would be having a lot of here. You can use maybe Trusty or Xenial, or they would be different also. So you can either use this one instead of CentOS/7. You can use Trusty 64, or you can also use the Xenial, and there are one more version of it. So you can use this way, right? Yeah. So Ubuntu boxes. Uh, So Ubuntu, we have the Trusty 64. You can see for the downloads. So there are more than 3 crore downloads for Ubuntu Trusty 64. Probably you can use the same one. Or we have the Xenial, which have more than 3 lakhs. We have the Precise also. I used it very often, Precise and the Trusty 64, these one. So you can use it. And I am going to ping it here again. That would help you. So that's all for today, guys. Before I log off, if you have any questions, please ask me here. And again, guys, if you have any question in your mind, do not hesitate to ask me. Maybe you can just ping me. And what I encourage is that is more effective communication, because if I'm able to understand you guys, that's why I started with your experience. That's how I can be able to model my sessions accordingly. And most importantly, if you think that I'm a bit faster or you think I'm a bit slow, please let me know. That will give me good understanding about the pace of the session also, because it happens. It's a general tendency to have all sort of candidates. Some of them prefers, because they're experienced, they prefers to go a bit fast on the topic, but some of them prefers to go in a bit detail of it, so I can model it accordingly. So please have that kind of communication with me, because it's for you only. I'm already working on this technology, and it's not just about the money that I'm working here, waking up in the morning. It's just about you, because you took this decision, and I want to make it the perfect for you for your career. And there, once you start with the DevOps, there are a lot of things, because what I am thinking. For me, I have 13 plus years of experience. I'm very well settled here. I'm working as a engineering manager here in one of the MNC level 5 company. But what I think for me is that I still needs to learn a lot of things, because now my preference is more towards the robotics, or the machine learning or the artificial intelligence, and that's where already started working on it. So I know that you have chosen the right path, but I want to make it more perfect for you. You need to have that kind of understanding. You do not have to have in any kind of dilemma. So my effort would be toward that. And if you have that kind of communication, I can be able to help you more better.
So I just wanted to ask one question. because I already worked as Android developer. So how difficult is that for me to get into a develop?
So that's not difficult. I would not say difficult, but that's all about you practicing and understanding better how DevOps is positioned in between the developers, in between the DBAs. What exactly is the role that you're going to play in the organization? And in these sessions I will give you good amount of understanding, not about the thought process but about the technical understanding of all the technologies, all the prevalent technologies in the DevOps. And at the end of the session you will be having all those understandings. You will be able to correlate all the things from the DevOps mind, that you will be having at that the confidence that you would be having at that same time. So I would not say that is difficult. I would say it's more about about practicing, about the and understanding the different processes, how they are correlated with each other. Like we have the monitoring, we have the continuous integration, we have the continuous deployment, and what are the technology stack that we using in it, and how it is helping the developers. This is the basic question, important question.
So yeah, I do have one Mac system. So all those things you have told that regarding Linux and Windows 10. So how I will do that? I mean, how to download and everything? Can you please tell me?
Okay. Oh, that would be great. So you have the Mac, right?
Yes.
So that's what I told you, guys. Like, if you have the Mac, then I think you do not have to do anything extra, because your Mac terminal would provide you all those features, all the Linux features.
Okay then. So
And
just
and if, yeah, and if I saw in the past also, the candidates who already have the Mac, they have installed the VirtualBox and the Vagrant. That would be good for me. I do not have any objection in that one. So you can quickly install VirtualBox and the Vagrant, and then the same way I just created. What I'll do is today itself I will share this Vagrant file also with you, and then quickly you can be able to create one Linux environment on your Mac also. So it's all your choice.
okay. No problem.
So one of the main reason is that I do not want to tinker with your session to with your base platform, base environment, because we would be practicing a lot of things, and maybe you run some commands you do not know exactly. It may create some problems internally. So that's why I encourage you to create your virtual machines, maybe the EC2 machines or maybe the Vagrant machines. So if something happens, it would be happen on the virtual machine only, or not on your base platforms.
Okay, then I just have to download that virtual machine
Yes, and the
and
Vagrant.
background. Okay, then that would be
Yeah,
great.
great, great. Thank you, Chinmay. And any other question, guys?
Are we having any Google Docs sheet or something that we can go and check the recordings or any like supporting documents?
Well, after this session, because the recording will take around 15 to 20 minutes to be available in my account, and then it will take like a few seconds to download it, and then it will take few minutes to upload it. So after this session, maybe after 1 or 2 hours, I will be able to upload it on the Google Drive. Once it is uploaded, I will share the access with you guys, every one of you. So once it
Perfect.
is shared, you can just click on that link, and then you would be in that repo in that directory, and that you can download these sessions. You can download the Excel sheet also, or maybe the whatever the material I will share with you. You can download it, and then you can go through it. So, okay, well, so if you do not have any question, guys, so thank you so much for joining the session today, and thank you so much for taking the decision to go with the DevOps. I will, put my best effort to make your decision the best decision of your career and make it effective. So because I'm going to give all the learnings which I have already and which I would be gaining for next 4 weeks also. So it will be very interactive. That's what I can tell you. So
Yeah,
thank you guys.
thank you. Thanks a lot.
Yeah, sure. Thanks. Thank you everyone. Bye bye.
Bye.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.